While I was building this campsite, I imagined it being used by Aragorn and Gandalf as they searched for Gollum, just after Gandalf had left Frodo with the ring in the Shire. For years they tracked Gollum through forests, mountains and marshes. An exhausting hunt through the forgotten corners of Middle-earth. This camp would have been one of their rare resting places, tucked away from watchful eyes and the growing shadow in the east. I started by making a simple base for the campsite. I cut a 25cm square and then trimmed it down into a circle. To decorate the campsite, I used my blender skills to model some chests, bedrolls, a stool, tents and a stone surround. And of course, Gandalf would have been travelling in the wagon, so I printed out a copy of his cart as well. I'll make all these available on my Patreon. Speaking of which, thank you to my patrons for your continued support. I love you guys. Next, we'll paint everything. Nothing too complicated, a prime and a zenithal in grey, followed by white. The chest was painted with dark wood speed paint. The stones got a wash of Nuln Oil. And the tents were base coated with Skeleton Horde, followed by a wash of Agrax Earthshade. I modelled in a lot of texture for the tents, so this really helped bring it out. For the wagon, I used the airbrush to apply a layer of mahogany, then added a wash of Agrax Earthshade. The bedrolls were painted with Absolution Green, with leather for the straps, then given an Agrax wash. I usually use sand for basing, but I've been pushing more realism lately. This time I tried Sculptamold for the first time, and I was pretty excited to give it a go, even though I had no idea what ratio to use. So I used the technical measurement of "that feels about right." If you don't know, Sculptamold is a mix of plaster and paper pulp, which gives a lightweight, textured finish, perfect for building natural terrain. I spread it around and keep shaping it until I like the landforms. The path down the middle and the fire pit area, I sculpted that in with my fingers. Before it dried, I pressed in a few of the models so they blended into the ground better once I glue them in place. I wasn't sure how long it would take to dry, but it ended up needing a full 2 days. Still, the final result was worth the wait. I grabbed my Mournfang Brown and Gorfor Brown knockoffs from the DIY store and painted the base, using the lighter colour for the path. Instead of using a full pot of Agrax Earthshade, I wanted to try making up my own wash. I mixed matte medium with water and added a drop of washing up liquid to break the surface tension. This helps the paint flow into the recesses. Then I added a few cheap paints, black and brown, and kept testing the ratios until I liked the result. I was really happy with how this turned out. It's cheaper than using a whole pot of Agrax, and I'll keep refining the mix until I get something even closer. After that, I gave the base a quick dry brush with the Gorfor Brown paint. Next up, static grass. I applied Mod Podge, used my applicator and knocked off the excess. Then I glued down all the campsite items using super glue and accelerator. I used pigment powders around the base. In one of my other videos I accidentally blew off most of it, but someone suggested using a spray of isopropyl alcohol to fix it. I gave that a try and it worked perfectly. It fixes the pigments in place and leaves a lovely finish. I grabbed my box of grass tufts and placed them around the base. On a recent trip to Scarborough with my family, we did some crabbing and I spotted a few pieces of driftwood on the beach that were perfect for making a few logs for the campfire. I rimmed the base in black. As I mentioned at the start, I wanted this to feel like a real resting spot for Aragorn and Gandalf during their long journey. I imagined them taking a few days to rest and talk about their hunt for Gollum, so I added some extra details, a few bushes and shrubs, and glued them down around the board. I also used a little flower flock to bring in a bit of colour. I didn't manage to get it on camera, but I added smoke to the campfire using cotton wool painted grey. Then, I figured this was a great opportunity to try something I'd never done before, adding lighting. I also wanted to hide the switch, so I tucked it in under one of the chests. I had no idea how to do this. I've never built a circuit, used a resistor, or soldered anything, and I honestly thought a breadboard was for chopping bread. But I started learning and eventually came up with a small circuit to fit under the base. A 9V battery running to a switch, through a resistor and into 3 LED lights. I made a super detailed diagram, carved out the space under the board, soldered the wires and installed the whole setup. I'm so pleased with the final result. I think it looks amazing. It still functions as a playable piece of terrain, and I love how the hidden switch adds a little bit of magic. I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Until next time, happy modelling.